Hi, I'm Dave Price with hosting-review.com, and we're here at HostingCon 2012 in Boston, and I've got the pleasure to be here with Todd Benjamin, the VP of Hosted Services for Hostway. Todd, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
Great. So Hostway is a leader in the web hosting industry and has been for several years. So please give us a little bit of a history lesson in terms of where Hostway came from and what brought you to present time.
Sure. The company's been around since 1998, founded and headquartered in Chicago. We've grown through a combination of organic growth and acquisition. We've acquired companies both here and globally. So it's been a combination of finding synergies with other companies and other brands and using those to pursue that mission.
And are you finding that with the acquisition of other companies, are you transitioning the customers off onto your platform, or do you retain the existing infrastructure and try to utilize it further?
I think from an infrastructure standpoint, we try and use as much as we can, but I think that we are trying to work towards a normalized experience and get the users the Hostway brand, and we have a couple other brands, but try and normalize from the customer's perspective the experience that they get and the service that they can expect.
Right, makes sense. So cloud hosting is becoming a mainstream approach, and there's a lot of varying definitions as to what cloud hosting is. So from an industry expert, what would your definition of cloud hosting be?
It was certainly cloud, and cloud hosting is a well-used term these days. But I think there's some commonly accepted implications of a cloud service or a cloud hosting service, some of which deal with the underlying platform or delivery mechanism, which would be, that it's scalable. You can use what you need when you need it. But I think also there's some implications in terms of how it's delivered to the customer. I think giving the customer more control so they can take away resources as they need to. If you have a new employee, you can add new seats. So I think that in general, from our perspective, we look at cloud not only as a product, but also as a delivery philosophy, if you will, and try and architect the services that we provide to give that kind of scalability, reliability, ease of use, and customer control.
Sounds good. So Hostway describes its cloud offering as cloud on demand. So can you describe what that means and how it works?
Sure. Again, to my earlier comments, I think the whole or a big promise of cloud is the ability for the users to have what they need when they need it. So rather than having to configure or build something, when they need more capacity, they can go through a user interface, typically a web-based interface or maybe fully automated, and get the kind of resources they need. In the case of an infrastructure cloud service, for example, if I have a marketing promotion coming on, I can spin up more servers and replicate my application across multiple servers to accommodate the increased load. When the promotion tapers off or is discontinued, I can scale those back. And I think that's ultimately, has tremendous value for the customers.
And so it sounds like they don't have to call in and have that time delay between one of your technicians provisioning, right? So automated, real time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So and again, I think that's one of the promises of cloud is taking people and taking those manual processes out of the equation.
And is that expensive for the consumer?
No, I think obviously if you can use only the resources you need to when you need them, you don't have unused capacity. Somebody else could be using those resources, when you don't need them. So, although I think that the real promise of cloud is beyond just getting, cheap capacity. I think a more efficient use of that, and therefore, drives down the cost of owning and operating the infrastructure.
That makes sense. So managed hosting is definitely a strong point for Hostway. So what are the key components of your managed services?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Managed. We've been doing managed hosting for a lot of years, and we think that we're one of the leaders in terms of, both in terms of the quality of the service that we provide to our customers, as well as the functionality, and really trying to help our managed hosting customers, get all the components that they need. So that would include, if it's a discrete server, they would get the capacity of the server they want in terms of RAM and CPU and storage and so forth, but also the ancillary capabilities, hardening of the OS, providing security services, doing monitoring, being able to proactively alert the customer if something's amiss, and coordinating with them, in terms of their maintenance intervals and things that they need to do with the server, so that we don't minimize or eliminate any kind of downtime that would take out the customer's application.
Right, and if your customers have any questions, is your support team responsive, ready to go, able to answer the questions and service the customer?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, we have multiple mediums of contact, whether it's chat, email, phone. Everybody, we've got people on staff, 7/24, because we recognize that our customers, their businesses are running those hours as well.
Right, makes sense. So, Todd, if I were to ask you to deliver a one message that, if there's nothing else, our viewers, and I hope they remember all of it, but if there was nothing else they remembered from our conversation, what is that message you'd like to deliver to them?
Sure. I mean, I would say that reliable service, delivered in a efficient and cost-effective format is really what we're about to help our customers be successful with their online applications and their online infrastructure.
Sounds to me like you've done a great job in doing that. You guys are one of the biggest hosting companies out there. So, Todd, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.